everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Good Enough Gaming Podcast. Hopefully, like us, you've recovered from GameCon 2024. Might take a bit. But this week's episode is entitled... Oh, fuck, Daryl. I just read the title. I am aroused.
Nice.
Kyle.
How many... Fuck.
I know you get excited about our episodes, but man, come on.
Put it away.
I'm trying not to. How many of you grew up on the works of Akira Toriyama? If you don't know who that is, then you need to get out more. Just saying. He is none other than the creator of the esteemed manga and anime Dragonball. That isn't all that he developed in his time, as we have been graced by a new rendition of his work on Disney Plus and in video game format. The title is none other than Sandland. The show has bred some life into the animated drought in our lives, celebrating some of more beloved creations and moments, and showed what a ragtag bunch of Beelze-buds can accomplish with little perseverance and demonic powers. We got the peanut butter, they got the king jam. Let's make a sandwich and get this party started.
Nice, Daryl. I like that. It's good.
It's good. Yeah.
So cards on the table.
Kyle has no fucking
Kyle
clue.
has no idea what we're talking about.
I made it 2 minutes into the show. I started watching. I was like, nope, not for me. Nope.
Kyle's
Even
not
give it
a
a college
Kyle's
try.
not a man of culture, people. So
Oh,
Kyle's on
just-
Disney Plus for the Bluey, okay? That's the only animation in Kyle's life. That and maybe some
X-Men 97.
okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that's it though. I'm
also
sorry.
R.I.P. Toriyama. Sucks that he's gone, but you know,
Goat of anime.
for real. Yeah, and like Sandland's interesting. It's been around longer.
2000, I think.
Yeah, longer than people think. I had never heard of it until this year. I'll be honest with you.
The manga has been around for a long time. It's been around for more than 20 years. So
It definitely shows because some of the characters you're like, hey, I recognize that from like some other offshoot or something, right? Where it's just like
Right.
kind of cross contamination of characters amongst different things.
He's got a very unique way of drawing characters, and it's the same thing, you know, having him included in Dragon Quest too, right? Like,
love it.
Yeah, that's where you see a lot of it. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I laugh in this game and show, like Beelzebub's dad, the devil.
It's
Like,
Lucifer.
Lucifer. He's
Satan.
basically the exact same character design as
It's Deborah.
Deborah in Dragon Ball.
Yeah. It's the exact same. This is clearly what he thinks demons look like.
Yeah. I got a kick out of that. As soon as I saw him in the game, I was like,
Wait,
hey.
Deborah?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What are you
That's
doing
funny.
here?
I was like, wait, don't tell me Sandland is in the Dragon Ball universe.
I
was like,
did
whoa,
for a
whoa,
second.
whoa.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely feels like it though, because they touch on some like sort of serious like geopolitical topics and stuff, especially early on. But then like everything about it is like super low stakes.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's just something about that Dragon Ball universe where like, well, if you know, I'm assuming like Beelzebub's gonna die or something. It's like, well, we'll just go collect the Dragon Balls, right? Like it's fine. Like right, like it's serious, but not so serious.
Yeah. Goku's died 17 times, but it's fine. We'll just get another set
Nothing
of
a
Dragon
senzu
Balls.
bean or a couple like 7 magic balls rubbed together can't fix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And this comes from guys that love
I mean, we got
I love Dragon Ball.
Like, I love Dragon Ball.
I grew
But
up
it
on
is
Dragon
funny.
Ball. I love Dragon
Yeah, it is funny though.
nothing some old world magic can't fix.
Ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this one. The premise is so funny. There's no water anywhere. Like there's a shortage of water for like all of the. Like,
But it's
all
alive.
of the Sandland and all the. But everyone's still alive, and I'm like, how? Like, if there's no water anywhere, how are any of you alive? Like,
Well, that's where I've been getting into it, right? Like the geopolitical, like the government or the king is like rationing the water, but keeping it all for themselves.
yeah,
While keeping this like technology from another culture that they essentially like committed genocide on.
Oh, great.
Although there are some
Yeah.
survivors, right? Like there's all this stuff. Like when they led up to the first, I'll call it like mini finale of getting the water back. That
Yeah.
I thought that was the end of the season.
I
I
did
was
too.
like, oh, cool, we accomplished our goal. And then they're like, oh, by the way, there's this whole like other group of people that we have to deal with, and all. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, there's forest land.
Yeah,
Like, see,
Man,
the
that
funny
was a trip.
funny thing about that is that same feeling of it being over happens in the game. Like you beat the evil general and the water floods in through. You get it all back. Everybody's happy. And I honestly thought I was done the game. I was like, oh, okay,
bit short.
I
maybe,
guess
yeah.
like 15, 18 hours. Like, okay, a little shorter than some open world games, but it's fine. It's like, no, I'm halfway through.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Oh, by the way, here's a bunch of new characters. Here's this girl. Here's the world's most fucking annoying
Angel.
character ever written ever. This is the Joffrey.
I was just gonna say,
Thank
this
you.
is exactly what I was like. This
Yes.
is the Joffrey of this game
Holy
Yeah.
and the
shit.
show.
what a piece of shit that character
Like
is.
he's an
Muniel,
angel,
Kyle, just look up a picture of Muniel.
Yeah.
like because he's an angel, so he looks like a child, but he's like old, right? Like he's not
Yeah, yeah.
12. Because it's like I've never wanted to like hit an anime character, but like a child looking character so much.
yeah, for real.
This fucking bowl cut.
I was gonna say that
Stupid
Beatles
staff.
bowl cut
Oh,
is like
just-
that.
Ugh, so stupid.
I couldn't get past his shitty ass dangling wing limbs. It's like his
those are kinda
little
creepy too.
little uncircumcised dingus wing on the back.
Wing limbs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They look like
Dangling wing limbs.
they look like defeathered chicken wings attached to his
Yeah.
back, Kyle. That's
Yeah.
what they are.
Yeah.
That's essentially what they are, because he gets in a fight with Lucifer and gets his
Lucifer
wings
rips
removed.
him off.
So he's
Yeah.
got these little like
stubs.
skin. He's got these little skin stub wings in his back.
They look weird.
It's
as
like
it's kinda
it's like
gross.
Angel from X-Men.
Yeah,
yeah.
but defeathered.
Yeah.
Yeah, the funny thing, I actually, so I played the game and I was like, okay, I know we're gonna do an episode on it. Let me go and watch the series. Like, I know Trevor and Daryl are gonna watch it, but let me at least watch it so that I can compare the two. I watched the first episode and I kid you not, it is beat for beat identical to the start of the game. And
Yeah. Oh, I
to
would
the
imagine.
point, like to the point where I finished episode 1, I was like, okay, well, I played the game, so I don't need to watch the show now. It's like I'm not going to waste my time, because that was
And that's
fucking
I
beat
think
for
that's
beat.
that's true to some of the other development. Some of the in some of the other games, a lot of the Dragon Ball games, you're playing beat for beat of what happened on the show. Like it's not really any different. They don't really mess around with stuff like that when it comes to these franchises, which for lots of fans, like, that's cool. You want to play the story that you love,
that you're familiar with,
that you've watched and you're familiar with it, and you don't have to have a new rendition all the time. Marvel, but like you can kind of get away with just following true to like the story, which I think this one it does. I do have to laugh about some of the other character designs as we're talking about it. It's like, we are going to make a strong female character lead that's a blonde, and we're going to call her Android. No, actually, we're not going to call her Android anything. Just call her Anne.
Yeah.
Just call her Anne.
And we
never
did
know.
it. Yeah.
So, because I have a question, because I played the demo.
Mhm.
So, Jordan, like, what is the actual gameplay like? Because in the demo, they essentially just let you loose in a sandbox area, and you can mess around with a couple of the different vehicles, which it feels like I'm playing like a really like cartoon down version of like Armored Core. That's what the demo felt. They're like, switch to the tank and then go like, drive around and shoot stuff. And it was just like, this kind of doesn't like that's probably why I didn't pick up the game.
Yeah.
Because I played the demo and I'm like, well, this is fucking boring. But like, do you play like third person? Like, do you actually run around as Beelzebub, or like what? How do you play the game?
Yeah, so it is an open world action RPG. So
Okay.
it's you can run around as him, you can fight as him. There's even some stealth. There's some stealth levels and components where you have to sneak around and not get caught. But the game very much so pushes you in the direction of using the vehicles. There's a lot. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, because it also, I was just remembering, like when I was kind of writing notes for this, it was like it also kind of just felt like Borderlands 2 or Borderlands 3, like driving sim.
Yeah. So it's funny. I actually had that written down that like this game reminds me of a Borderlands 1, where a lot of your time is spent in the wastelands, and it's a lot of browns and a lot of just dry shit everywhere. But don't kid yourself. This game is it's a JRPG style, and it falters in the same areas. The whole like tutorial-esque start of the game taking you
4 hours,
3 to 4 hours before it eventually opens up. Like this game does exactly that. And I'm pretty sure I didn't touch the demo, but I have to assume the demo is basically that section.
No. They literally unleash you. They're like, you're at camp. You're in the middle of the fucking desert. They give you like a zone, and they give you, I think it's only 2 or 3 of the vehicles. They don't give you all of them. They give you like the tank and the motorbike, I think.
Okay.
The tank is such a mainstay in the anime. It's so funny.
Yeah, it is.
And they kind of say like, here's how to get in the tank. Here's how to drive it. Like essentially it feels like a beta vehicle test. And then like, there's a chest and there's some enemies over there. Like go shoot them. Like go do whatever you want and just kind of drive around and putz around in the tank.
Yeah, I could see that not.
So I played it for like 20 minutes. I was like, this is not.
This is a no.
Yeah.
And that's where I was just like, is this what the actual game is? Because this is not a good time. Like, it's like, is this World of Tanks and anime? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, so I got a lot of Metal Slug vibes. Like to me, the tank design, yeah, like it looks like a Metal Slug tank. So I kind of chuckled a lot of my playthrough looking at that. No, I mean it's after the first 4 hours, that stupid like JRPG tutorial thing, it really does open up and it does become a lot more interesting. There's a lot of sections of the map that you can uncover. There's secrets and Easter eggs that you can find. Some of the stuff can't be unlocked until you get certain vehicles in the game to be able to like jump across, a chasm, or I need the bike, to hit a ramp at a certain speed to like cross this section. So it definitely does a good job incorporating. I think there's 8 vehicle types by the time you're done the game.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah, so like there's everything from the tank to the bike. There's like a bunny hopping mech machine. There's like this big boxing mech that you can just go up and like just start swinging on people. They've got
Rock'em Sock'em Robot.
Yeah, they've got a golf cart that's got a trailer hitch attached to it, but the trailer hitch is like a rocket launcher that you can fucking sink on
that's
people.
Not in the show.
Yeah,
that's not in the show. Yeah,
the show. It's just the golf cart.
Yeah. So like there's some interesting mechanics in there. I really enjoyed. There's a ton of vehicle customization and like weapon parts that you can swap in and out of. So like you might get a tank cannon that shoots really slow, but it's armor piercing rounds. So against certain enemy types, like you'll want to put that on. Cool. And then you can get like boosters and you can get armor plates. And it's, as somebody that likes visual customization, and I know Daryl, you like it as well.
Yes.
Like the cool thing about it is every part that you put on has a visual component to it. And even the armor pieces, it looks like somebody just like quickly fashioned a bunch of metal plates and like welded them onto the parts that they thought would be the most important to a tank. It's like, yeah, let's put one here, 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 and there. Okay. And like put it all on. And so like everything looks very rugged and imperfect, which is kind of nice in a customization game because a lot of stuff usually is like hot off the press, out of the dealership. It looks so new.
Pristine.
Rad.
Yeah, pristine. And you're like, this is a tank in a kind of post-apocalyptic-esque world.
Yeah, you know, so that's really cool. The characters are pretty interesting and endearing. They've got really nice character arcs from start to finish. So I really liked that aspect of it as well. The story and the characters kind of pulled me through a lot of it. And honestly, I liked the animation style. I think the game is gorgeous. The character models are really cool. It just visually looks really, really nice. The cell shading, it kind of reminded me of like Tales of Arise a little bit. Kind of the heavy cell shading on characters.
Maybe not so bright.
Kakarot, like all that stuff. Like it's got a similar like feel.
It definitely felt like one of those animes that's rooted in like the heritage, like a Dragon Ball Z. But now we're in like season 20, and someone in management's like, "Hey, maybe we should like update the graphics a bit, or like do something." Right? We're like, it's still got these really good roots of like classic Japanese anime, but they're like, we can like. You've got like technology that can do this shit now, right? And they're like, oh yeah, because that's what it felt like. Like going back and watching, I'm like, man, this takes me back.
It does.
Like, and I'm sure watching like original Dragon Ball, like it's still not bad, but it definitely has its flaws. But watching this, you're like, oh man, this is so crisp. Like it just,
everything
just hits
so
that other note.
Nice. Like it's just, I was watching it the entire time. I was like, man, I wish they would redo Dragon Ball. Like give it
just those little 3D touches of things.
Watch Dragon Ball Super, Daryl.
I know, but Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z are like so good. Dragon Ball original like needs the update.
It does. Like, I don't disagree. To me, like, kind of talking about the original Dragon Ball, and just like anime being adapted into video games. The one thing that this game really proves to me is not every anime needs to be an arena fighter. Like, why can't we get some of these properties like Dragon Ball or Attack on Titan or Naruto? I mean, fuck, there's an endless list of them. Why can't you give us like an open world or an action RPG third person type game? Like give us, the rich history and, the really cool characters. And like, I don't want to play a fighting game all the time to experience these things.
That just gave me like the greatest idea. Can we get Insomniac's Spider-Man as an Attack on Titan?
That would be amazing.
Game?
Yeah. Like
those mechanics for like flying around.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, that was because you always wonder, people are like, why don't they make a game? I'm like, well, it's probably going to be a bit of a shit game. Like it's not going to really be that fun. But you add in something like a Spider-Man, you're like, oh, that works.
And
those like grappling belt things they have, like that would be so sick to just like zip around on.
Yeah. And that's always the issue is I feel like, not to shit on anime games, because I know that there are people out there that love these kinds of games. But like, to me, a lot of anime games are the 90s new age version of like the movie tie-in video game, where it's like, we've got this crazy popular property. We know people are going to buy it. Let's just pump something out there that's going to catch people's attention.
Like Ruby? Like that was just a terrible game.
Yeah, like it doesn't have to be a AAA super polished game. We don't have to worry about making it the prettiest looking. Let's just get it out. And like so many anime games are like that, where, you're playing it on a PS5, Xbox Series X. It released in 2023, but it looks like a game I could have picked up on the PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And so like I appreciate Sandland for a lot of the mechanics and gameplay stuff in this that is very run of the mill and generic in a sense. I appreciate the fact that they gave me a giant open world to just go wherever I wanted and explore, and really just kind of give you the tools to this universe and be like, go.
Yeah.
So we need more games like this from the anime genre.
Yeah. Because it's funny because that just reminded me, because I've seen it a couple times on the PlayStation Store. I was just looking at the new Jujutsu Kaisen game.
Yeah.
Which essentially follows the story of the show and then puts you in like arena battles. Right?
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't like it follows like these tropes, right? It's just like, okay, can we, do something different?
Mm-hmm.
And even if that lends itself to more of a turn-based JRPG style game where you can like do these cool moves and like do all this cool shit, or even some of the new Final Fantasy where it's like a mix of turn-based action RPG.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be something different you can do. And like I understand there's a lot of Japanese anime that is fight, like
it's generally fight based, like it
lends itself
written into the story.
But we don't need like a shitty spin-off Mortal Kombat version of each one of these games with like skin, right? We don't need the Smash Bros of like throw all the characters in a game and let them fight, right? We don't need that anymore, because I don't think it even sells that well. I don't know who's buying all this unless you're a super fan.
I think of the Naruto fighting games, like they have released the same Naruto arena fighter 12 times in the last decade. And it's like, why couldn't you give us like this giant open world, like Infamous type game where you're almost a borderline superhero, but you're dropped into this sandbox of an open world. You've got all these crazy powers and abilities. You can travel around really fast, and you can just like, you can do missions, you can fight crazy boss battles, but just give me something different than the usual fighting mechanic,
It's so funny because I think this is actually the result of the opposite problem we're seeing with Disney and Marvel. In that Disney and Marvel is like, hey, make it wacky. You don't have to read the source material. Just, make something fun that people are going to want to see. Right. Whereas like in a lot of these Japanese animes with the mangas and stuff, they're like, don't you fucking stray away from this at all, or else you will be like publicly shamed.
Yeah.
That's true.
So to keep it as on source as possible, they're just like, well, if we just make a fighting game, like we can just follow what's been made into the show.
Yeah.
And then just like
I see what you're saying.
make it, we're just going to make an interactive version of the show. Right. And that's, I think, kind of the fault of it. So like, I don't want to, get away from the Dragon Ball Z story, because then someone might get mad. Right.
And pissing off the fans is
never
a good call.
Yeah. Great.
It's never a good idea.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to anime, man. Like, you do not want to piss off the fans. Like, it's a death sentence for a game.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way you can
especially with
sell
like
it.
a long-standing series.
Yeah. But I mean, there's got to be some way you can sell it as like a side story or some sort of content where you get the original creator in to make a unique story and let people play through it in an open world or some sort of a different setting versus
like a different timeline or whatever.
Yeah.
Like even Dragon Ball Xenoverse, like Trunks is traveling through like time per se.
Yeah, like
other Saiyans and stuff. Like
Xenoverse 1 and 2 is a completely original story. Like they just let them go.
It's the Time Patrol or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
like just make your own thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Trevor made a good point though. Like the turn-based thing. I go back to the Ruined King, Daryl. Like, well, like what if you were to play a game like Ruined King, but with an anime property of some kinds? Like, there's gotta be an interest. Yeah, there's got to be an interesting.
Well, Battle Chasers is comic based, right? Like Battle Chasers.
It's a graphic
Dragon
novel.
Quest.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest, I would say, is probably the best of them all.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just. I mean, even something like One Piece. One Piece from the outside looking in looks so interesting to me, but none of the games appeal to me in any way. And it's just like, there's got to be a way to introduce that in a more kind of mass appeal way, I guess.
Yeah, because you probably don't have thousands of hours to catch up on.
No, I don't.
Yeah. I feel like we could do like a whole ass episode just on anime based games.
It's against animation.
I would be completely out to lunch on it, but
but you'd be here.
But I'd be here. Jordan, final thoughts here. I want to take a break. I need a break. Trevor this week is going to take us on a little bit of a jukebox journey. I don't know. Am I overselling? We're going to go to the Good Enough Jukebox and see what Trevor has in store for us today.
Jukebox.
Good Enough
Jukebox.
All right. On the Jukebox today, Kyle will be thrilled to know that we are talking about anime.
Hey!
you had me.
I had you in the first half.
In the first
Hook,
half.
line, and
I'm
sinker.
so excited.
So if you have been a fan of the modern remakes or whatever, modern renditions of God of War, and if you're an old head like us, and you played the original God of War.
Is that what we're at now?
Well, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Someone who's played a
Old
PS2.
Heads. Yeah. That's the criteria.
Yeah, that's all it takes. And if you guys remember some of the soundtracks and things that came along with those older God of War games, I don't know if any of you guys have watched it yet. My wife started watching it, and then I just got into it. On Netflix, they've actually been doing a pretty good job of releasing some new, like modern kind of Americanized anime shows. Blood of Zeus.
Yeah,
I've watched that.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
New season came out, didn't it?
Yeah, it just came out. So my wife started watching it, and like
Oh,
she
hell yeah.
watched it without me, and she was like, "We got to go back and watch this." I was like, "How have you not shown this to me?" Same thing. Oh, the ancient Greece. All the gods are involved. You've got kind of this new character who's kind of, getting swayed one way and another. But the music for that, it's on the playlists, and the whole soundtrack's on Spotify. Big orchestra, like big choir kind of chanting stuff. Like think of the old chanting music in God of War.
You'll love it, Kyle.
And just expand it.
Yeah.
It would be up your alley, Kyle.
Yeah, it is fantastic. So they did a really good job. Like the show itself is really good. Like it's, a kind of a gritty adult anime. Like it has some serious tones, and it's definitely not, I think the opening scene has a dude get his head cut off. So like it's up there. It's not kid friendly.
Kyle, did you ever watch the Castlevania Netflix series?
No,
I'm sure.
I might have looked at it, and then
it's the same creators of the Castlevania series. They did Blood of
Zeus? Phenomenal.
Blood of Zeus.
Blood of Zeus. Yeah. So both of those, if you liked the Castlevania one, watch this, because it's the same animation, same creators.
Yeah. But if you want something that's sort of rooted, it seems to be a bit more rooted in traditional Greek mythology. But yeah, the music for it is fantastic. So if you want something like that, that's kind of dark and ominous, I guess. I don't know how else to describe it, but think old God of War, and it just puts you right back into that series.
Nice. That's a good pick. I like that.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that show until I saw reviews for season 2. I was like, oh fuck, that was a good show.
Forgot that came out.
Yeah. It's like, that was a good show.
Got to get on that.
Can you give me 2 seconds? I want to listen to one.
Okay. Pause.
Is there any that you would recommend?
I can't think of a name of one off the top of my head. Just
watch a trailer for the Blood of Zeus.
Yeah.
It's extensive too, 34 tracks.
Oh yeah,
dude.
And there's it's like you get a lot of the like I would call it like temple chanting. Like, is that
Yeah.
the term?
Yeah, I think that.
It's like those
I
deep
think
like
people would know.
Thank you, Trevor. We appreciate you looking into soundtracks because I mean,
Excellent
like there's
recommendation.
That is a good
so
one.
much good stuff out there, and sometimes like I never would have known about that before. So I'm just gonna listen to my ska and sea shanties.
Oh,
until
God.
the day I die.
Hup. Hup.
Pick it up. So back to Sandlands.
Sandland.
Sandland.
Singular.
Singular.
Not
I
to be
guess
mistaken with
one.
Forest Land.
Only one land of sand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And you
can
guess
we
what's
talk
so special
just
about
for a
Forest
second,
Land?
Can we just talk about the name of everything? Can we just like the desert is Sandland, the place where there are trees is Forest Land, and then the one character's name is Thief. Like it's not
Yeah.
even like he
Yeah.
doesn't even
Yeah,
have
it's
a
just like-
name.
Are you trying? Are you trying?
This is
at
like
point?
shitty. It's like shitty
Yeah.
translations.
Translations. Yeah.
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 You're just like, did we do that just literally, or did someone choose that?
Yeah.
And
I
like
also
the other
love-
thing with these games like Dragon Quest and Sandland and like even Dragon Ball doesn't really have it as much, but I always kind of like there's always that like older character that's like involved in the party that's like always strung along that you're like, okay, like this wouldn't happen in real life. This guy would be in the retirement home like back
Are you talking about Thief, or are you talking about the general?
both in this one. Like it's kind of like
Yeah.
general seems to be like Rao has definitely got like more of a like a reasonable vibe, but whatever. But Thief looks like he's like 107. In his pajamas, he looks like Santa Claus.
But yeah,
Yeah.
his main way of dressing up and disguising himself, Kyle, is he pretty much dresses up as Santa.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this show?
It's
It's
very
awesome. Give it a chance.
It
It's
is.
funny
It
'cause
is good.
It's the full getup, and they're in like the blazing desert, and this guy's wearing like a Santa outfit. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
whose choice? Like, whose choice was this?
Yeah.
The animation lost me, to be honest.
I don't know how you
couldn't
can
get
be
into
mad at the animation. I think the
Like
animation is amazing.
Daryl
think-
said, the animation is X-Men 97's animation.
No, it's not.
They're
It
pretty
is
fucking
not.
close.
It
They're
is
pretty
not.
close.
Kyle went a very specific direction as a kid, and that was like karate superheroes. And like that animation, which mostly stuck to like Ninja Turtles, X-Men, Street
Spider-Man.
Sharks, right? Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think as a kid you ever ventured as much really into like the Japanese side.
I try, like, I could never get into Dragon Ball Z.
And I think that's
Just didn't
why.
do it for me.
That's why it's like if you weren't a Dragon Ball Z or like a Pokemon kid, like this just isn't gonna resonate. I think that's
No.
the problem.
No, it lost me. It lost. I lasted 2 minutes, and I was like, no.
See,
I
even
can't
in
watch this.
my house, Kyle, you give it 2 episodes.
Well, it's-
Every new
it's-
show gets 2 episodes of a shot.
You also have to remember it's a Japanese anime. You have
No,
to
thank
treat
you, Taste.
you have to treat it like the introduction to a JRPG. You got to be here
Yes,
for
you
at least
gotta
a couple
give it a
hours
chance.
Exactly.
before you really know what the fuck's going on.
That's where you lost me.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's Kyle's problem.
Yeah.
It was too
Which I have
complex for
several.
Kyle, you guys. It's okay. It's not as
This land is made of sand. There's no water.
There's
I don't know.
there's trees
Kyle-
where I live. This is blasphemy.
Kyle didn't give it enough time to get introduced to the most random side characters that exist in Dragon Ball Z and any anime is the swimmers.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
need
you.
another-
I was waiting for those guys to pop up. It's like
So, for explanation for Kyle, they are like a band of misfits.
They're bounty
they-
hunters.
Swimmers in the desert.
Yes. Yes,
So
you heard
he-
it right.
Yeah.
So the dad grew up and like lost water, and his dream was always to swim.
What the
So-
fuck is
so-
this show?
So generationally, he has passed that on to his kids, who have quite literally never swam, but they all walk around in speedos and swim
Speedos.
caps, and they're bounty hunters.
And one has a cape. One has a cape on.
That's
And he
Swimmer
is
Papa.
super, and he can Oh yeah, that's the pop-up. But then
Yeah,
the one of them has like super speeds for some reason.
Yeah.
He looks like a ghoul. He doesn't have a nose.
Yeah.
Like,
That's perfect.
and then of course the comically like giant fat one who's like the most childish. Like he's the dumb
yeah.
like baby,
Big
but he's like
oaf.
giant.
He shoots
fat-
the giant sniper cannon.
Someone has to hold the rocket launcher. So
Yeah.
What?
And the
Yeah.
and the swimmer Papa basically just sounds and looks like Mr. Torque from Borderlands.
pretty much, yeah, he's super jacked.
Yeah.
He lost Kyle.
So good.
It's so funny though, because like
It's
having
so
watched
funny because everything's
having
so
watched
hyper exaggerated. Like it's
yeah.
having watched older anime, as soon as they appeared, I was like, oh yeah, this checks out. This makes sense.
Yeah, this fits.
like in what's his name?
Armstrong.
Roby from Dragon Ball. Like that. Like he's always
Oh,
there. He's got his sword.
Najirobe.
Yeah, and like he's always there with his sword.
Yeah,
and what like so just getting into antics, and then like even in older stuff, it's like those three thieves that are like always just kind of getting into shit. But yeah, man, like you always have to have those that are just like they get their little 5 minutes in the show and they make you laugh or like something.
They're the
stupid happens to
comedic
them.
relief, right?
Yeah.
They start off bad, then they become good. Everyone's united.
Well, yeah, they finally get water, and then they're like, "Oh my god!" Yeah,
As soon as they showed up, I was the same as Trevor. I was like, I was waiting for characters like
just
this.
something, right?
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
so perfect that they're swimmers in the desert, like Kyle like makes the observation, but it's like it's literally the most perfect like character to put in there as a joke because there's no water. You're in the desert, and these guys are known like are a collection of swimmers, like the best.
And they don't know how to swim. Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
it's so good. Yeah, I honestly that's part of what kept me going in this game is I just found all the characters to be funny and really interesting
it's charming.
and yeah, just very charming. The one thing I will say though, and it's not exclusive to this game, a lot of open world games have this issue, but like when you're traversing the open world and the developer thinks that they need to fill in that like void of anything happening with talking.
Oh,
yeah.
And
Give
so
me sea shanties instead.
like the amount of fucking one-liners that I had to hear over and over.
yeah.
Oh man. At one point I was like, can I turn these off? Because these are so bad.
They've got to know by now. It's like, okay, you're making a game that's 40, 80, 120 plus hours. You can't record 8 lines of dialogue,
No.
right?
Yeah.
Like
As like your exploration.
yeah, it's like we're gonna be in the car for a while, gang. Like let's add some content. And I mean, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same issue that I've come across with even like Fallout 4 or like you hear like any Grand Theft Auto, right? Like with the radio,
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
holy shit, can we get a bigger soundtrack? Like this.
Mhm.
This is a 200-hour game. Like I can't listen to the same 10 songs.
Okay, counterpoint. Tyr from God of War is the antithesis of that. So
He's
like,
the correct way to do it.
Yeah, he's
exactly,
the pinnacle.
He's got a new story every once in a while, and like, and that you as you're boating down the river or something, he's like, oh, do you like remember this time? And then you get out of the boat. It's like, and we'll come back to it later.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah. Like if you stop him,
Yeah.
that's
yeah. That's the right way to do it.
Yeah, to me, it should be viewed as a game mechanic rather than just a throw-in. If you're going to create an open world and you want to encourage exploration and the player to actually, like go across the entire map and find all the little Easter eggs, you have to reward them and entice them to do that. And in this game, with shit like the repeating dialogue, I may as well fast travel everywhere.
yeah.
There's no sense me hopping in the car and enjoying, riding the motorbike. It's the fastest vehicle in the game. It's really fun to drive that thing around. But if I got to hear the same fucking 3 lines of dialogue every time, I may as well just fast travel to the next spot and skip all of that. You know? So it's like, don't view it as just this throw-in thing.
Yeah.
Right. But and that's honestly that's my biggest issue with this game is the gameplay's tight, the mechanics are sound, but the game doesn't do anything revolutionary that you haven't played in 1,000 other open world RPGs. And like and who knows? I mean, maybe that's if you're looking for like that comfort food game where you can just jump in and it immediately feels familiar. That's exactly what you're going to get with this game. You know, the vehicle combat, I guess, feels the most unique. But again, there's probably a dozen open world RPGs that have vehicle related combat in it that would feel just like this. So like to me, it sits at a 7 out of 10 for me. Like, you know, it was enjoyable. To me, this is the perfect Game Pass PS Extra title. You know, like if it's the summertime, there's not many games being released, and this happens to be like the free game of the month.
Fills a void.
Perfect game to pick up and play.
Catching up on some anime, catching up on some games.
Yeah.
Kyle.
I'm sorry, I like what I like, and I don't like what I don't like.
Kyle's that girl in the relationship that's like, what do you want to eat? Do you want pizza?
No.
Well, what do you want? I don't know. Just pick whatever.
Oh,
just pick whatever.
Fuck off.
Love you, Kyle.
Daryl, what would you rate the show?
I give this there's some parts that are kind of slow, and I feel like some of the parts with Muniel are kind of a little bit repetitive until the final battle, where like things really progress and he absorbs all the power from like the mecha and stuff. So I would say, like, for the character development, how funny everybody is, I think I give the show an 8. I enjoyed it. I'll probably still continue watching it if more stuff comes out. I didn't mind it.
Yeah. I think I'm about the same. I'm right there with you. Like it hits the nostalgia button enough, but there's also not like it doesn't feel like there's too many like wasted episodes where they're like charging up to Super Saiyan for
there's none of that.
And literally nothing happens. Like it definitely feels more, it's so funny. It feels like a cartoon, like formulaic cop show where you're like, here's the problem. We're going to solve the problem. Here's the end of the episode. Here's the right. And it just kind of leads to the next thing, And it definitely ramps up because at the start you're like, there's bandits on the road. And then it's like, we're bringing the water back and bringing down the government, right? And you're like,
oh, okay.
All right,
Revolution.
Right. Yeah. It definitely feels like a video game where you're like, you know, you go from killing rats to gods. Like it kind of takes that progression.
The World of Warcraft.
Correct.
It does. Yeah. You're killing pigs.
Yeah.
and then
I'm going to go fight some
gigantic dragon
thing. Yeah. But I think it hits a lot of those notes, and especially anyone who, you know, watched a lot of older anime, especially Dragon Ball Z, like you're gonna love this, and you're gonna be like, oh, I recognize some of these characters, some of these kind of like themes and the style of it for sure.
Yeah, even like his angered power up and everything, like
all of that
stuff. Going berserk and stuff.
It's like spikes, like they're not hair. It's not hair, but he's got fucking Saiyan hair. Like, let's be serious.
Yeah. Honestly, this game, when I beat it, and like Daryl kind of already talked about it briefly, but like this game makes me want an open world Dragon Ball game, not Dragon Ball Z. I want Kid Goku and Kid Krillin, because like it's that perfect formula of buddy cop meets road trip, you know, and like you're on a road trip with your buddies, you know, fighting crime and saving the world, and like that would be a really fun open world game where it's third person action, like kung fu fighting. I'd be into that.
Jordan wants open world Dragon Ball meets Pokemon, right? Young kid going off on an adventure.
Yeah.
You've got a rival. You've got these bad guys, but in the theme of Dragon Ball without like catching enemies.
Yeah,
like,
but give me like Batman Arkham Combat, where it's like, fighting a bunch of meatheads, and it's like you got counter buttons, and then you build up a meter, and now all of a sudden I can shoot off like a giant key blast or something, as like a finishing move.
Saving up for the Kamehameha.
Yeah. I think there'd be something cool there if they did something like that. But
I'd be down for that.
Yeah. Would you guys watch season 2 of this?
I will.
No.
Yeah.
We knew your answer.
Yeah, your answer's easy, Kyle.
You don't even go here.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I would give it a shot. Like it's one of those ones where we haven't binged it, but occasionally if like we're kind of in a lull of some other stuff, we'll watch 2 or 3 episodes in a night, and you don't really feel like you miss anything.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's pretty easy.
It's not like. Yeah, it's not like one of those super in-depth animes where you're like, wait, who are these 8 people and what's going on? Right? You're like, okay, this is all very, very straightforward.
Yeah.
But it's just another one of those like fun things where it's like, oh, the angels are the bad guys. Like,
yeah,
the
demons aren't bad.
Demons aren't all bad. Like,
Beelze-bub's just a degenerate child who loves video games, just like the rest of us.
Yeah, just like us. He's one of us.
So, Dad, I saved the world. Does that mean I get 3 hours of video games instead of 2?
I know. It's hilarious. Like, that's literally it right out of the show. It's so funny.
Love it. Yeah.
But check it out. Sandland.
Yeah.
Worth the visiting the game or the show, honestly, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
on
for the sequel, Forest Land.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
I would say watch the show for sure, and then if you really like that universe, maybe look at the game, because they are very similar. I would be shocked if we ever saw a Sandland 2 game. Like, I don't think we'll ever see a sequel in the game, but you might get maybe 3 seasons of the show. I could see that happening.
But if it's anything like Dragon Ball, you're going to get more games.
I would be surprised
if there's money in it.
Yeah.
It's kind of it is a weird choice of a tie-in for a franchise that isn't like renowned.
Established.
Yeah. It just depends on how
it's established.
sells, right?
It's not renowned.
Yeah. Just doesn't have the same level of hype.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball has hype. Like Dragon Ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Ball
they
hits
spend like how many
mainstream.
episodes charging up the hype?
Many.
How would you know, Kyle? You never watched it.
I don't fucking know. But am I wrong?
No.
Kyle's
past Frieza Saga, it did get a lot better.
Kyle's basically the Krillin of the Dragon Ball universe.
Doesn't even know that that's a diss.
Thanks, buddy.
You're gonna have to go collect some Dragon Balls here to bring Kyle back. So the Sandland game is that on everything? Just for the people out there wondering.
Yeah, so I think it's Steam. Xbox, PlayStation.
Game Boy Advance.
I think a Switch
Game
would
Boy Advance.
I think a Switch would explode if it tried to run the game. So I don't think it's on the Switch. But yeah, your main consoles and then PC if you want to check it out.
Okay, and then Disney Plus for the show.
Yeah,
or wherever you seek refuge as a pirate.
Tortuga.
Not that we condone that.
Correct. But we know you're out there.
We see you.
Disney's fine. Disney will be okay without your $5 this month.
Yeah.
All right. That's enough anime for me today. That's good enough.
It's good enough.
Good enough.
Good enough.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for more content. We also invite you to write an email or join us on Discord to talk about anything from our episodes or something else you would like to discuss in the future. Please subscribe to the Good Enough Gaming Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts. And remember, we might not be great, but we are good enough.